Mic check. Check. Check, check, check. 1, 2. 1, 2. Oh, are we sounding good? Let's get over here to Facebook. Gonna let you guys rock and roll. Okay, so I just cut the comments on my Facebook. So y'all let me know you out there. Man, we're about to go live with Work and Desire. I'm so excited. Y'all make sure y'all share this out. I promise you, this is the one you don't want to miss. This one here. Let me know. Y'all let me know how it sounds. Y'all let me know if I'm coming through. That mic. Like that. Y'all make sure y'all share this. We're going live with Work and Desire. Right, this is a great place to get started. This is a great place to get started, guys. All right, it's 7 o'clock, which means I am ready to rock and roll. No matter if I'm ready or not, it's time to go. And I'm here. I first want to introduce myself. For those who don't know me, my name is Eric Kirk, and I am the author of The Power of Two. And today, it's a special day because I got a couple that's coming on in a little bit, and I'm not gonna even try to talk about who they are. I'm gonna let them do all of that themselves. Okay, they're gonna introduce themselves, and they're gonna come to you guys the way that they want to come, and I love that about the show because we just it's just the way we do things. But before they do come on, I want to I want to just talk a minute about something that's really been on my heart. I haven't I haven't been on social media in a while. As far as going, doing, I haven't done any broadcasts, podcasts, anything like that. If you've been following my personal page, I have been doing what I'm calling the power tips of the day, the power questions of the day, which is have been very eye opening. I have learned a lot, from asking those questions and seeing the response, because it's showing me, a couple of things. And one of the things that it's showing me is that, men and women are really different, and I have said that plenty of times. But it's showing me how different we are. Now I know it may seem like that's a bad thing, but really and truly, it's not a bad thing. It's exactly the way it's supposed to be. Okay, I think one of the problems that we have as couples is the fact that we look at ourselves and we know that in our head, we got things together, and it makes so much sense. And then we're wondering, why is it that you don't get it the way I get it? Why you don't see it the way I see it? Well, see, I want to go ahead and just let you know right now that, God didn't design it that way. If he needed us to all think the same way, and especially when it comes to men and women, we're just gonna see things a little different. And what I want people to understand is that different doesn't mean wrong. A lot of times if in relationships, when we start looking at, okay, it's something as, which way do the toilet paper supposed to sit on the roll? Now, listen, y'all may think I'm funny, but that's a real thing. Couples have to look at things like that because my pastor would always say to me is that it's the small fox that spoils the vine, and it took me years to understand that. And what I realized is that those big things don't really mess up or destroys relationships. It's those small things. It's those little things like, why do you put toilet paper falling over instead of coming on going under? Why you don't do that? Why when you drying off your silverware? Why do you put them face down and not face up? Simple things like that. It be those small things that irritates people. Why when you take your shoes off, why you just don't put them up under your bed? So um, a lot of a lot of that has to do with the way you were raised and how you was taught, and that's one level that we have to deal with. But the bigger level that I talk about a lot of times is the fact that God made us different. So the way we perceive things is going to be different. So I don't want to get into all of that, but I want you to understand is that when I'm asking those questions and I'm getting insight, man, it's just reinforcing me, reinforcing in me that we're just different, and I'm so excited about that. Because one of the things that other than hey, we're different, and what I want to do. My guests are here, so what I want to do, I want to say this, and we're going to go ahead and get into this thing because I'm really excited about this. Um, Now I know that if you know anything, if you've been on social media, if you've been following you know the jokes and the memes and all this stuff that maybe a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, I didn't keep up with it, but a man, Kevin Samuel, passed away. Okay, and I haven't been live to talk on that. Okay, and I have some people that ask me why I haven't, and it's not really a reason particularly why. I know that it's been a lot of great commentary that's out there, some that's been good, and actually some that's not so good. So I don't like even debating things that's been debated so because the reason why I bring it up is because what I do here in the Power Two, I want to talk about a balance, okay? And a lot of people fall on the side of, that Kevin Samuels was very extreme, okay? And I'm not going to argue that debate, but and then but I do believe that his message was right. And when I go back and I look at the book The Power Two, I realized that there was something happening, and God was preparing a thing because even when I look at where we at now, if anybody go back and they look at some of my messages, I've been saying for years that we are in a gender war, okay? And what I want to do, and I'm going to bring this great couple up in about 30 seconds. What I want to do is bring that balance, okay? Because what I do know is that regardless, listen, we got to that we see things different for a reason. And the reason why God did that is because He needed us to have a balance. He wanted us, He wanted us to have, to bring that yin to that person's yang. He knew that even when He started developing the family unit, He knew that you had to have that man mindset, and then He also knew that you had to have that woman's mindset in order to raise a healthy and productive family. He already knew that. And I also go into and I talk about, how when God created Adam and He could have stopped there. God could have did whatever He wanted to do. But God immediately went around and said, this is how I see it. Okay, listen, don't mind me, because I'm just gonna tell you how I see it. What this is how I see God doing. I say, you know what, man, I made the perfect man. Man, Adam is the apple of my eye. When I created, man, this perfect being. But as good as Adam was, and as perfect as God made him, He said, you know what, Adam, man, you're not going to be complete until I give you a helper to give you that help me. And so what He did in God infinite wisdom, He said, you know what, man, I got the perfect thing for you. And He created Eve. And then when he did that, right there is when you guys, I believe in my heart, and from the revelation that the Holy Spirit gave me, right there, when God said, when Adam said, "This is the flesh of my flesh, the bone of my bone," that's when we first seen the power to, come into fruition. And from that point on, man, God has been operating in that capacity, and family's been operating in that capacity since that point on. So, without any further ado, now I'm gonna tell you, I got two monitors going on. I got one that's my main camera, and then I got one that's over here. So when I look over here, I'm looking at different things. I'm looking at messages, comments, stuff like that. And I'm pull that up. And so don't think I'm ignoring anybody, because I can see it both ways. Okay. All right. Let's see. Y'all are officially on the broadcast. Man, how y'all doing?
Going on?
Man, everything is good. I mean, listen, man, I'm so excited to have you guys here. I can go. I know a little bit about your story, but I said earlier, I said I don't want to even attempt to tell your story, because see, I believe in all my heart that your story gonna have a message that's gonna bless people. Okay, I don't want to mess that up. Okay, so what I want to do, and when I told you, I said, listen, I believe in the movement of the Holy Spirit. So what one thing I learned, I can have a structure and all that stuff, but I learned that, I am going to be obedient to the spirit. So if it goes a little different, okay, just know that that he's working right now. Okay.
I flow with the Holy Spirit. We good.
All right, all right. That's all I need is one amen, and I got it. Hey, so look, I'm gonna I just want y'all to start by introducing yourselves. And telling us who you are, how long you guys been married. Just flow with that for right now. Just do that.
Okay.
Well, I'm Chris.
And what do you do, Chris?
I was figuring you would say I'm Whitney, but
So y'all did rehearse it, but she messed it up.
Chris, I'm basically an equipment operator for the city. We've been married, going on, this will be our 13th year of marriage. And it's been 13 years of marriage. I mean,
Right, 13 years.
All right, all right. Man, I'm gonna tell you. First of all, congratulations on 13 years of marriage. Because listen, I know people who hadn't done 13 months. I know some who hadn't done 13 weeks.
yes,
Now I hadn't met anybody who hadn't done 13 days, but I'm pretty sure that there's some out there that hadn't that couldn't make 13 days. So congratulations on 13 years. When's your anniversary?
August the 15th.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Like Chris, I see you hesitate. You did what I would do. I said,
Believe it or not, I'm the one that hesitates. He knows.
okay.
Because I'm like, so yeah, he knows a little bit better than I know
So
sometimes.
we got married exactly 31 days after my oldest little boy was born.
Wow. So that's how you relate. I'm just horrible with numbers, and dates, and I'm horrible with that. You know what? I'm gonna stop because I'm horrible with a lot of things. So I'm not even gonna put that on me. So, but anyway, so Whitney, so who is Whitney?
Okay, so Whitney is an entrepreneur. I'm a salon owner of a small boutique style salon called New Lenny. And New Lenny stands for a new understanding to let you navigate in excellence. As more than anything, I'm a wife and I'm a mom. Then I'm a business owner, and then I'm a friend. So
What? Man, that's awesome. So man, I want to get into this power too because you guys you read the book. Okay, have y'all completed the book?
yes.
Okay, good. Now, there's some people out here that, I mean, there's quite a few that have read the book, but there's quite a few that haven't read the book. And I'm gonna tell you one of the things that you immediately find out that to me that it sets this apart from anything else is that partnership agreement that the first like your first order of business. So did you guys make that? Did y'all do the partnership agreement? And how did that work out?
As far as in a partnership agreement, this book was actually right on time because our marriage started to navigate in the partnership agreement. So I'm honest, in one of the partnerships of this, I had to read the book to my husband. So that was part of the partnership agreement. So did I fulfill my task? So
Yeah.
I fulfilled my task.
But and that's why I have a lot of people say, Eric, man, give me an audio book, and I am an audio book type guy. People say, I can say, well, you know what, I read these books or whatever. I do a lot of driving, and I learned. One of my mentors told me, said, make your car into your office, and or your study, and so it was very challenging because if you're on these late night drives and you're trying to stay up, you don't want to listen to Napoleon Hill,
Right.
but I do understand that you can get a lot of knowledge, during that time, just by listening to audiobooks. So, Chris, I totally understand. It just
Yeah,
easier to
I
just listen
read.
to
People think I can't read or nothing like that.
no, it's just a preference, man. It's just a
Yeah,
preference, and I think that's why audiobooks does so well because people they realize that some people just it's not that you don't want to read it. It's just like for me, just being able to be productive while I'm on the road was a big plus for me. So
yeah. That's
so that was your first power to agreement as it relates to the book, Whitney. So you read the book. Now I'm gonna say the book is a real easy read, and but one of the things that I did is that I wanted to bring the book to life. So one of the first the first two characters that you really are introduced to. Yeah, but before I do that, I want to read this agreement, okay? Because I want people to understand what we're talking about when we talk about this partnership agreement. That this is when you first get into the book. You're gonna see. Um, Stop, read carefully before you proceed. Partnership agreement. We, Chris and Whitney Irving, hereby dedicate time, energy, grace to the process of discovering our power to revelation in our family, our relationship, our business, and in ourselves. Today, okay, we vow to be intentionally in the study of the power to and the reading of this book together as a collective unit. May God bless our union, and then you sign it. See, this was why this was so important to me is because see, I knew that right here is where that that commitment really starts. See, you married. I understand that, okay? But as you go into the book, you're gonna realize that in relationships, and one of the areas I seen of downfall in relationships is that you can have two couples and they can be going two different ways, okay? So we want to make sure that that doesn't happen, okay? So now we go into we get into this book, okay, and we find that there's 8 revelations in this book, okay, and I know them by heart, but I just want to read them. Revelation number 1 is that man was not meant to be alone. Revelation number 2 is accountability. 3 is protection. 4 is motivation. 5 is correction. Number 6 is agreement. Number 7 is to keep the fire burning, and number 8 is to show that small is big with God. Okay, now those are the 8 revelations, but we're going to talk about those first 2 characters. Okay, their work and desire. Okay, now one of the things I like when I talk to couples is to find out who is work and who is desire, because what I realize is that now when I wrote the book, I gave desire a female with I made desire female, and I made work male, but also I see you with it. Also, what I realize is that they're interchangeable. Okay, and they're not really gender specific. But of course, as I was writing it, I had to do it because it just made it a whole lot. I literally tried to write it without being doing that, and I couldn't keep it right in my head. So I said, what? Let me just stop fighting it. I felt like God was trying to push something with that, and so I just let it go. Okay, so but I do know it's interchangeable. Okay, so and then it can change throughout the years. But who is work and who is desire?
This
I'm work. She desire.
Okay.
it started a heavy debate, but it was a healthy debate in this because in my mind we had seasons where he's always been work. Don't
Okay.
wrong. Being a man of the house, he has always been work. But me being an entrepreneur, I felt like I was work, work, work too, because the responsibilities that I have in a home as a woman. And so then we began to talk about these things, and I get it. I am Desire because Chris does let support me to do the things that I want to do. So I was like, okay. And so he had to bring it to my attention, like, okay, you still Desire though, like, so.
Cause I'm an old fashioned kind of type of guy. I didn't think owning businesses and stuff like that until she came around. My wife, she got me into thinking about stuff like that. When I grew up, I learned how to hustle and work.
Right.
That was what I was taught. So that's what I learned how to do, provide. So as far as anything else going above and beyond that, I didn't learn that until I got older, got kids, and my wife came along. Which she came along before the kids and stuff.
Man, that I totally get it. I totally get it. And one of the things, you know, that I have learned, it not only is it interchangeable, you know, for male, female, but it also, I believe that, you know, because if you look at the subtitle of the book, it says work plus desire equals success.
Correct.
So when I look at, well, let me just give you a background on why I did that, and Whitney, you know, I know that. Well, I put it like this: when I got that work plus desire, um, I was thinking, or I was having a conversation with an agent. Okay, and for those who don't know, you know, I'm in the financial service business, so and I have agent. Whitney was actually one of my agents, and you know, but I don't know if she was around during this time. But anyway, I was having a conversation, and somebody said, I don't know if this is gonna work out for me. I don't know if I'm cut out for this type work, you know. And then I asked them a question about their daily, routine. You know, tell me about what you're doing, and then and I found out real quick that they didn't have good work ethics, and so as from that conversation, I got this revelation. I said, and this is what I told them. I said, when your work matches your desire, you're gonna have success. And I did not know. And I'm gonna tell you that conversation, because I kept notes, and I realized when I started putting this book together, I started going back and I started looking at all my notes, because I knew that it was some stuff that God was working with me with. So when you look at this book, you really can go back about 10 years, and you'll see that this been in the making. So when I seen that, I said, you know what, that is the secret, or that secret sauce in relationships, in marriages, is that you have to have work and desire. So each and every one of us, you gotta be like Chris, and you gotta have that good work ethic. You gotta have, man, that old fashioned man, go out there and get it done. And but one of the things that we found out about work is that, work in the book, work, not Chris work, but in the book we seen that work had, work was kind of tunnel vision. And I really found myself as just being that guy that, man, one of the worst things I can say about me, and as it relates to relationships in my earlier days, I was so much work, to where, when somebody say, you need to, pull over. I know this quote ain't right. I'm messing it up, but it's something like, stop and smell the roses. You know what I'm saying? I was that guy. If we was on a road trip, I didn't want to pull over and say, hey, let's take a picture. I was that guy to say, you know what, but we got to be there at 12 o'clock. And so, let's just keep pushing. Mm-hmm. And I realized that I was missing out on so much life. I remember times when my family was going on vacation, but it was some things that I did not finish as far as work, to where I said, you know what, y'all go ahead and I'll catch up with you. Man, and I thought I was on it, Chris. But I realized that you can have too much work, and it can ruin your relationship. And I also realized that you can have too much desire without work, because desire desire was that person that when Whitney, when you say, well, I'm an entrepreneur, entrepreneurs are always thinking. We always have, it's always something. There's always something that we can work on. I always got have an idea, and in the book we seen that desire always started something, but never could finish it.
Mhm.
Um, so when you look at yourself on that level of desire, are you that person where you're gonna start and don't finish, or you that person just I'm always coming up with ideas, and because if I'm gonna say something, I'm gonna say that you probably have a strong work and a strong desire in you. Am I
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. When it comes to desire, what I have learned, this is the balance that has worked in our marriage is, in all honesty, Chris will tell me like, you just got too much on your plate. So one thing
Mm,
about me, I'm goal oriented. So I'm gonna get it done. That's not an issue of getting it done. But sometimes I have too many irons in the fire as well till I get burnt out. And so with that being said, it's I'm learning in this season to only take on what I can do to keep the balance in my family, I shall say.
man, that's good. That's good. So it sparked a debate. Um, y'all, you you identify who you are, but at the same time, you do understand that it's going to take both to be successful.
Oh,
And one, and what and I believe that success is going to come not only just as in the family unit corporately, but also individually, as well. So, and I'm really posing it as a question. I know I'm not saying it right, but would you agree with the statement? I put it that way.
Yeah, it's
I agree.
You agree?
the, yeah, I agree because it's different seasons. I guess that's what we're trying to say. Like it's so different seasons where they're so inchangeable, and communication is the key. Like,
yeah.
and if we're not communicating on what we want, one of the biggest things that kept us married is, as married couples, I really encourage conversations,
Mm,
and when I say conversations, other conversations more than just about bills and the kids, conversations about what the individual want as well in that season. And so that has been a thing that really has strengthened our marriage understanding, because when we got married 13 years ago, our desires changed over the years. Work changed
absolutely.
over the years. The pattern changed over the years. And so we had to come to the drawing board. So I say about every 6 months to a year, we try to go to the drawing board. But one of the key things that didn't change was the value of family, what we felt like, what we wanted. So that foundation stayed solid.
And I
That's
had
awesome. Go ahead, Chris.
and I had to learn how to communicate because
Mm,
I'm not a good. As men, we're not good communicators. We feel like it's if as long as we take care of the situation as best we know how, we don't have to say nothing about it, and that's wrong. That's
man, that's so good, Chris, because I don't know if y'all heard this part, but I was talking earlier about how different we are. And one of the problems that we have is the fact that, and let me just say it like this, and man, and I hope you guys get this. When and I'm talking about the people that's going to watch this, and all that. But one of the things that I have learned, if you look at a man or a male, however you want to say it, or a female or a woman, however you want to say it, and you start seeing similar traits, no matter whether the ethnic background, or the nationality or the social status, the economic stand. When you start seeing those common traits, then I have learned to say, you know what, that be, the reason why it's common is because the same creator created them, and he created them that way for a reason. And in other words, so when Chris say, men, we struggle with communication, so, but what we're gonna find is that women, most, are gonna over communicate, and we're gonna under communicate. Okay, that can be devastating to a relationship. But see, one of the things that I want people to understand is that you have to understand that God created us different. Men aren't gonna think. You don't want men to think like you. You really don't. And women, men, you don't want your wife, you don't want your spouse, to think like you. You don't want that because, and think about it with the children. Because if you only have one thought, then your children is only getting one side of the story. It had to be different. I mean, God knew what He was doing, and so if you say, well, all men, communicate this way, or the majority of men, because we don't like saying all, but if you say, well, the majority of the men, communicate, and listen, I can go deep in that because I do this thing. If you go to you can go to YouTube, Fight for the Family. You can go to Instagram, and I did this series, and I talked about the man cave and the woman at the well. Guys, if y'all hadn't seen that, go find that video because it talks about the fact that that men are gonna go into that cave, where a woman is gonna go to the well, and I'm not gonna get to the meaning of that, but go watch the video, and then you understand that that's one thing that we're different at, so, but relationships are ending. They're ending because they say, well, we couldn't communicate, or it was a lack of communication, or he wouldn't open up. And then you get to the next guy just to find out what he ain't gonna open up because we spend so much time wanting to create the perfect person. And God, I told y'all from the beginning that God did that. He made us perfect. And if there's something about a person that you don't like, first of all, I'm not even talking about married people, because if you're married, then that goes out the window. That's too late. Okay, that when you get married, that cleaving process. Okay, so you just gonna have to cleave. I did not say leave. You're gonna have to cleave. But but before you get married, during the vetting process, you can't say to somebody, well, I'm going to change that. Then I can then they'll be the perfect person for me. Guys, do that work? It don't. It's like, no, they are perfect. They are how they are, and if you don't like them, then that's not the person for you. That's before you get married. Now, after you get married, it's a whole nother conversation. And I love it. I love it. I love it because, man, we got to go through that. So, no, so we talked about Work and Desire, and then I also introduced some other characters. So I'm gonna put you on the hot seat, okay? And tell me some other characters that's in that book.
Will.
You picked Will. You got Will, okay? So who else?
Reason.
Reason. So who is Reason?
So Reason is pretty much the revelation of why you do what you do.
Wow.
But
Okay.
book, it was the revelation of God speaking.
That's it. That's it.
Hmm.
And then who else?
Who else you had? You had Faith.
Yeah.
Faith. Faith.
Uh,
So check this out. Now, did you notice that you always have faith, and right after faith always came reason?
Yeah.
yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
notice that?
Yeah.
Okay, so who did faith represent?
So Faith represented to me like the push, the momentum to complete the thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. I like that. Not what I was looking for,
But
but I like
what
that.
you looking for though?
No, you know what? I like that because one of the things is I understand that you're going to get your own revelation. But in writing, I wanted to have the word of God, and
Oh,
that was faith.
yeah.
You feel that? So
Yeah.
but after you get the word of God, then you're gonna get what?
The reason, the revelation of
The
God.
revelation of
Yeah,
God.
that's on page 100, you guys.
That's why they always followed each other. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
so faith is gonna come in and gonna give you the word. I mean, and if you notice, I mean, faith it's straight out of the Bible. You know, faith doesn't waver. Faith is gonna just give you, thus saith the Lord. Okay, man, don't we need a friend like faith?
Yeah.
You know, we need, we need it now. Here's the thing, because you talk about Will, and I say, you know what, Will is probably the most misunderstood character in the book. Okay, why y'all laugh? Tell me about Will.
Oh, Chris.
Will is. Let me see how I can put this. That one friend that says, "Why don't you?"
Yeah,
The flesh.
yeah. He's
Will.
the flesh.
But he's the flesh that's I don't know how to put it. This it's reasonable flesh.
Cause he ain't.
It's something. It's something that you ought to be doing. That you sometimes pushing the steps to make the steps that you need to make. The steps in it you need to make. I don't know if it makes sense, but that's what I said. And Will is the person that's gonna push.
He's gonna push you. You know, and that's why I say he's misunderstood, because now, I mean, you said it right. When Will gonna speak to your mind, your will, your emotion. You know, he's gonna speak. He's gonna speak to your flesh. Mm-hmm. What you say?
Your drive.
Your drive. He gonna speak to your drive, but he's going to his Will has an agenda, but his agenda is not to say, well, I don't want you guys together. Will just is gonna come in, and he's going to just do, just that, I look at Will, just say, when this become a screenwrite, I can just see Will being, man, that best friend from college, maybe all the way back to high school, but he was that party guy,
Yeah.
The problem with Will, Will is older now,
Yeah.
and where everybody else has got married, had kids,
And matured. He's
and mature. He's right.
See, you have to learn to use Will when it's time to use Will.
Because he do have a purpose.
Yes.
It's
some people are there for some are there for some people are there for a lifetime. Will was there for that summer.
and understand, if it wasn't for Will, Work and Desire wouldn't have met.
Wouldn't have met. Thank you. My point is that.
So that, we have a flesh, and this is what I want people to understand, is that we have a flesh. We have that temptation. Now, Will was that guy that would come, and when you're supposed to be studying for your exam, and he's gonna tell you, man, hey, you've been studying too much. Let's go get a beer. You know what I'm saying? Now, on one hand, you would say, man, that's, man, I'm studying, because I need to pass this. But then Will could,
He's
you
that
can
balance.
all, it's that balance, because you can say, you know what, man, I was studying too much, and I needed to take a break.
Yeah.
So you can misunderstand Will, but I really want people to understand is that Will does not speak to the spirit of you.
No.
The spirit, you know what I'm saying? He only speaks to the flesh of you, and if you understand biblically, then you know that your flesh, especially those gates, those the worldly desire is what God warns us about. I'll put it that. So will do come with a warning, and when I'm gonna let you say something, because I just feel like you want to say something. Hey, let me just ask you, is there a will do y'all have a real life will?
Will is destructive in moments. Let's just say it like that. Like, Will is destructive. Will is that one that comes in when you need to be focused. And he comes and disturbs some things, and that starts to be entertainment. Like, that's temptation if we're gonna start in the physical realm of things. So, like, yes, Will is a 2-person fold, but you gotta entertain Will at the right time. So,
Right.
like, I'm gonna just use this for an example. If I need Mr. Irvin to be at home at a certain time to do things with the family, and Will comes along and say, "Hey, I haven't seen you in a minute," and the kid is counting on them to be at the baseball game, then Will just messed up a whole situation.
Absolutely.
So I'm not talking in the aspect of Will as in drive and doing the thing. Sometimes Will come and disturb a household, and we ain't got time.
Because Will would not consider the sanctity of the marriage.
Exactly.
He won't. He
Will
won't.
lose.
Yeah, no, if Will can be your best friend, he'll help you move. He'll loan you the money. He'll do all of that. But Will does not. And Will is not. Will is a good friend, but Will speaks to the flesh. He will wreck your marriage. Well, can he really wreck your marriage, or you allow him to wreck your marriage?
You can
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can allow him to do it. So I don't want to give Will the power to say he can wreck your marriage.
You
But
can't give that much power.
No, you're right. I can't give him that much power. But what I can say is that the spouse would say, "Will,
Oh yeah, it's gonna be Will's fault.
it's gonna be Will's fault.
Will's fault.
Keep answering the phone. See, keep answering the phone. Keep.
You're gonna stay with Will.
Right.
We're gonna go pick you up.
Hey, it's gonna be something like that. Okay, I tell you what.
Yeah.
And when you hear that, no man, hey Will, I can't go. I know.
When they ask you what Will got that I ain't got.
Oh man, hey, that is one question no man ever want to answer.
I mean, it ain't no good answer to that.
It ain't no good answer. It's like, hey, you gonna sit up there looking like, man, that's a good point.
Yeah, no, I ain't got nothing. Lady, what is you talking about?
Oh man, that's funny. That is funny. But man, I'm laughing because I'm like, I've had those weird questions in my life, and I promise you, it'll make you sit up there like, man, you got a good point. Because I can stay home with you. But this is one of the reasons why I had to bring that character in, because I wanted to show the balance. Of what it would look like. Will is and one of the things that I want everybody to understand is that these are physical places. These are physical people. But before we can have the physical, we also had them in the spirit. So there's a spirit of faith. There's a spirit of reason. And there's also a spirit of will. Will can come in many different shapes and sizes and colors. So we have to understand the spirit of that. I wanted in the book, I wanted to show, I wanted to give them a human face, but I really wanted the reader to connect with the spiritual side of what some, that if you were working, or if somebody that you were dealing with someone that only came to you and spoke to you, it spoke to your flesh, then that person is not good for you, because especially if you're a married couple and you are dealing with someone that is not considering your spouse. Now, in this case, Will, if y'all know that Will and Work and Desire both were friends with Will.
Right.
So that's one of the things that made it work. But even, and that's why I say, he's been misunderstood. I mean, people's like, man, I don't like Will. I understand why you don't like Will, but Will just had to be managed. Like the Bible says that we have to buffet our flesh. And we have to put it under submission. You see, and so now that's the only thing that we have to do with Will. We have to say Will. We have to give Will, boundaries.
Yeah,
Say that's it. That's it.
We gotta have rules.
He gotta have rules. And hey, my homeboy Will, in college, man, we great. Hey, no holds barred. But now that I'm married, these are the rules. You gotta respect my wife. You gotta respect my husband. Because listen, we gave Will that male gender role, but listen, it's a spirit of things. There are some female Wills.
Yeah, they are.
And
Will don't mean just male.
No, it don't. Because I promise you,
there's plenty of Willinas out there.
Hey, that sound like a follow-up book, man. To introduce a Willina. Oh man, I like that. So we coming to the end of this, and before I let you guys go, and this has been great. I mean, y'all really have done a great job with this book. And one of the things that I wanted this book to do is give you a revelation. I wanted it to give, the reader, the couple, a person that started out and said, we're going to come into this agreement together. I wanted you to have a revelation. So I gave 8 revelations. Okay. What's revelation number 9? If it is one for you guys.
So to love when they're unlovable, and to forgive when the world say, they're not to be forgiven. For me, that was the revelation I know that had kept us together. What's your phrase you say? I don't always like, you don't always like me, but you always love me.
Yeah, you always love me, but you don't always like me.
And that's true. Like, I always love him, but sometimes
love and like it. I tell her all the time, she gets upset because I tell her love and like is 2 different things. You always love me, but liking me is a day-to-day thing. You might not like me today.
That's right. Man, that's good. That's good. And I mean, we have those are those marital keys, man, that we need to hear that realness. Because see, I remember I was married 33 years. I remember all the way back, to actually it was our wedding, the night before our wedding, the night before we was getting married, and we was having a conversation, and I said, I don't ever want to fight. I didn't know how naive that sounded, but I was so real that I was so real. And I promise you, in my heart, I really thought I can achieve that. You know what I'm saying? But with age and wisdom, I realized that it was impossible.
Absolutely.
And we have to understand the purpose of the struggle. So in the book, I started this off, talking about the purpose of the struggle and how the struggle is necessary. And one of the things, that I realize is that, you're gonna have those days you're not going to like each other.
Absolutely.
You're gonna have those, but those are that struggle part of the relationship that really, at the end of the day, is going to make you better. It just does, And we talked about Cleveland earlier, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna let you guys say something. Say come as y'all want to come before y'all leave out. Um, but what I realize is that during that Cleveland process, if biblically, when God performed the marriage, He said, from this point you're gonna leave your mother and father, right? Y'all remember that? You're gonna cleave to your husband or your spouse, and you're gonna become one. Okay. Now, what I want people to understand when I talk about this is that we understand, the leaving mom and dad house, and we can kind of understand becoming one. That's a little mystical, but we can understand, the becoming one, or we can entertain it, but nobody really stopped to kind of realize, well, what is cleaving? What does it even mean? Well, what I realized, and I wish I had my cleaver, but that cleaving is where we get the word cleaver. Okay, and a cleaver is a knife like a butcher would use to cut meat off, off, I mean, whatever, cow or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's a big, knife. So that's a cleaver. And so what God is saying is that cleaving process is a process where He's going to be cutting away your flesh. He's going to be cutting away. Now, but this is what I want y'all to see. It hurts. Because what He's going to do, Chris, He's going to say, there's some things about you, Chris, in order for you to be the best you can be, in order for you to be the best you can be into this unit that I put together, there's some things that I'm going to have to cut away from you. So He get His cleaver and He start cutting away. And what happens in marriages is that you don't know that God is working with you individually, and you feel that pressure, that pain, and you start looking at your spouse and you're saying, it must be because of you. You're making me feel this way. And you don't know that God is perfecting you. Because see, what I realize is that when we come together, it's going to be Chris, it's going to be Whitney, and we're here. When God says it's becoming as one, that's when He start getting that cleaver out. He start cutting. Then all of a sudden, we start fitting together. Start making sense now. And then all of a sudden, this is where we become one. But we have to go through that process. And then that, the Bible also call it, a pruning process. There's some things that I'm gonna have to cut away from you. There's some things and see, God is dealing with you as an individual, and and couples reject it because the main reason they reject it is selfishness, but they reject it because it's a pain that they don't want to endure. So when we talk about this struggle, man, we have to realize that it's necessary because God is pruning us. And it's gonna be uncomfortable. You're not gonna like it. There's some things that's gonna hurt your feelings. All of this stuff. But God is saying that, man, I'm gonna perfect you, and if I do this, you're gonna be able to bear much fruit. So I wanted to say that, but we got 4 minutes, And I want you guys to use, those 4 minutes or 2 minutes, whatever you want to do, and just and tell us, just whatever you want to say. I'm not even gonna, I know you got something on your heart. You just use this time for yourself.
So the biggest thing I just want to bring, first of all, y'all definitely get the power to. It was an easy read. I'm proud of you for putting out this book in this season, because sometimes it's very, very important to know. I like what you were saying. We are individuals, and in order for us to entwine, we do have to cut some stuff off of us for us to entwine together as one. And so, in the spiritual aspect of things, it's very important that you increase your spiritual level individually and together. And so, also, communication is the key. That's the same thing with God. If we're not talking to our Father on a regular basis, how do we know what He expects of us? Same as our spouse. If we don't talk to our spouse on a regular about some things, how we know what to expect? And then also too, you got to give your spouse some space when they're going through. Give them time to think, especially for a man. Ask them how they day going. It's not always about us females. And if they choose not to talk, and then that's okay too. But pray and cover them in such a way that it will end up bringing y'all closer together. So always remember to give your spouse some space, some healthy space, and then also just make sure you spend that quality time together.
And patience.
Mm.
Patience is always a good thing, because both of y'all are going to need it. Every day y'all not going to get along, and every day she's not going to do what you like. You're not going to do what she's like. So that's something you have to have, is patience. And it's not the end of the world just because y'all don't see eye to eye. If both of y'all came into the relationship as individual people, you just have to learn to get along. And
That's
you have
good.
that each one of you are valuable. Each one of your opinions are valuable. You just have to learn how to decipher one from another, and just to learn to respect each other.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Man, man, I love it. Guys, y'all have no idea how much y'all blessed me today. You know, uh, I really don't have the words to even express how I feel right now, because, um, to know that, you can put something out, and, and just trust God's process, and then, and just see the fruition. I don't believe that this is the end. I believe it's the beginning. And I believe that somebody's going to watch this video, and they're gonna be blessed. Somebody is thinking about divorce right now, and I believe that they're gonna watch this video, and they're gonna see a Chris, and they're gonna see a Whitney, and they're gonna say, "I can do it too.
Absolutely.
I can do it too." And so that's how I want to leave this. I want to leave you guys with the hope. I want to leave you guys just knowing that, it's not impossible. No matter what the world is telling us, that why get married? You know, uh, what's the point? It's still a purpose. You still, the world would make you feel as if there's no need for this sacred union. The world would make you feel that way. But I'm so thankful, that I can see, I can see a Chris, I can see a Whitney, and I can see not a perfect 13 years, but
Oh,
13 years of a commitment that says, that I may not, because I asked this question. I say, what do you do when you don't feel love anymore? What do you do when I don't feel the love anymore? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And I said, man, you're not gonna feel love all the time, but that's where that commitment comes in.
Mhm.
Man, you hold on to that covenant that you made. You didn't, Chris, you did not make a covenant to Whitney. You made a covenant to God on behalf of Whitney. Whitney, you did not make a covenant to Chris. In order for you to break the covenant to Chris, you're going to have to literally break the covenant to God, because your covenant was to God on behalf of Chris. Vicky said, commit to the commitment. That's right. That's exactly right. Commit to the commitment. So guys, it's 8:01. So my hour is up. Man, I just want to thank you guys for coming in again and making and blessing this podcast. Guys, go ahead and be great. Continue to be great. And anybody that wants to, if you want a copy of this book, then you can go to www. The power of two. That's the number two, and X. That's www. The power of two X.com. Guys, I will see you. We say, oh man, I hate them. Yeah, it's okay, but there's a replay. All right, everybody. Y'all, good night, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. Watch the replay, everybody.